Joshua chapter 11, verse 1. This is the conquest of northern Canaan. Welcome, John. Verse 1, when King Jabin and Hazor heard what had happened, he sent messages to the following kings, King Joab and Madon, the king of Shimron, the king of Ashaph, whatever that is. These names are something. Verse 2, all the kings of the northern hill country, the kings in Jordan Valley, south of Galilee, the kings of the Galilean foothills, the king of Naphoth Dor on the west, the kings of Canaan, verse 3, Job 11:3, the kings of Canaan both east and west, the kings of the Amorites and Hittites and Perizzites and Jebusites in the hill country, and the Hivites and the towns on the slopes of Mount Hermon in the land of Mizpah. Wow, some names they have, you guys. My goodness. All these kings came out to fight. Their combined armies formed, let's see here, a vast horde, not World of Warcraft, guys. And with all their horses and chariots, they covered the landscape like the sand of the seashore. The kings joined forces and established their camp around the water near Merom to fight against Israel. Joshua 11:6. Then the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid of them. By this time tomorrow I will hand all of them over to Israel as dead men. Then you must cripple their horses and burn their chariots. Verse 7. So Joshua and all his fighting men traveled to the water near Merom and attacked suddenly. Verse 8, and the Lord gave them victory over their enemies. The Israelites chased them as far as Greater Sidon and Misrapoth, Maim. Israelites, wow, and eastward into the valley of Mizpah until no one enemy warrior was left alive. Y'all, the first chapter, for some reason I have to get my foot out of my mouth and untie my lips. So let me get this thing cranking. I need to get some coffee. I have caffeine-free coffee. Why am I even saying that? Then Joshua crippled the horses and burned all the chariots as the Lord had instructed. Joshua then turned back and captured Hazor and killed its king. Hazor had at one time had been the capital of all the kingdoms. Joshua then turned back and captured Hazor and killed his king. I just read that. Okay. The Israelites completely destroyed every living thing in the city, leaving no survivors. Not a single person was spared. And then Joshua burned the city. Joshua slaughtered all the kings and their people, completely destroying them, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. Remember, Moses just died in the last few books, last chapter. But the Israelites did not burn any of the towns built on mounds except Hazor, which Joshua burned. And the Israelites took all the plunder and livestock of the ravaged towns for themselves, but they killed all the people, leaving no survivors. As the Lord had commanded his servant Moses, so Moses commanded Joshua. And Joshua did as he was told, carefully obeying all the commands that the Lord had given to Moses. So we're in Joshua 11:16. So Joshua conquered the entire region, the hill country, the entire Negev, the whole country around the town of Goshen, the western foothills, the Jordan Valley, the mountains of Israel, and the Galilean foothills. Verse 17, the Israelite territory now extended all the way from Mount Halak, which leads up to the Seir in the south, as far north as Baal Gad, at the foot of Mount Hermon in the valley of Lebanon. Joshua killed all the kings and those kings of those territories, waging war for a long time to accomplish this. Verse 19, no one in this region made peace with the Israelites except the Hivites of Gibeon. All the others were defeated. For the Lord, verse 20, hardened their hearts and caused them to fight the Israelites, so they were completely destroyed without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. You guys, I don't want you to, when God says he hardened their heart, just like with Pharaoh, it's not saying, wow, God wants to harden their heart. No. Let's see. There's always somebody in the chat and TikTok. God bless you, brother. If you guys want to get a person in there, we can remove them. If you see something in the Bible where it says God, harden their hearts, it's not saying he's a hard-hearted God. It's saying that once you make a decision, you have a free will to love him or to choose him. He's going to confirm and affirm your decision. He's going to lock it in. That's what he means by harden their hearts. Okay, so for the Lord harden their hearts, it said. Verse 21, during this period, Joshua destroyed all the descendants of Anak, who lived in the hill country of Hebron, Debir, and Anab, and the entire hill country of Judah and Israel. He killed them all and completely destroyed their towns. None of the descendants of Anak were left in all the land of Israel, though some still remained in Gaza, Goth, and Ashdod. So Joshua took control of the entire land, just as the Lord had instructed Moses. He gave it to the people of Israel as their special possession, dividing the land among the tribes. So the land finally rests from war. That's what I'm talking about. That's good. That's really good stuff, man. Okay, we're going to go to chapter 12. Kings defeated by Moses. 12:1. These are the kings east of the Jordan River who had been killed by Israelites and whose land was taken. Their territory extended from the Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon and included all the land east of the Jordan Valley. King Sihon of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon, was defeated. His king included Aroer and on the edge of Arnon Gorge and extended from the middle of the Arnon Gorge to Jabbok River, which serves as a border for the Amorites. The Ammonites. This territory included the southern half of the territory of Gilead. Sihon also controlled the Jordan Valley and regions to the east. From as far north as the Sea of Galilee to as far south as the Dead Sea, including the road to Beth Jeshimoth and southward to the slopes of Pisgah. Verse 4. King Og of Bashan, the last of the Rephaites, lived in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He ruled a territory stretching from Mount Hermon to Saliach, in the north into all of the Bashan in the east, and westward to the borders of the kingdom of Geshur and Makkah. This territory included the northern half of Gilead as far as the boundary of King Sihon of Heshbon. Moses, verse 6, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites had destroyed the people of King Sihon and Kegog, and Moses gave their land as a possession to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, kings defeated by Joshua. So it's going to list them right here. Verse 7. The following is a list of the kings that Joshua and the Israelite armies defeated on the west side of the Jordan. Remember, Numbers and Deuteronomy, these things, they number things and they list things. It's all about the camps and where they were camped out and the territory. So we expect that's what Numbers and Deuteronomy were all about. Okay, so the following list of kings were given to Joshua, armies defeated. From Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Helek, which leads up to Seir, Joshua gave this land to the tribes of Israel as their possession. Verse 8, including the hill country, the western foothills, and the Jordan Valley, the mountain slopes, the Judean wilderness, and the Negeb. The people who lived in this region were Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. These are the kings Israel defeated. Verse 9 is going to give us a list. The king of Jericho, the king of Ai near Bethel, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, the king of Gezer, the king of Debir, the king of Gader, the king of Hormah, the king of Arad, the king of Libnah, the king of Adullam, the king of Makkedah, and the king of Bethel, the king of Tappuah, the king of Hefer, the king of Aphek, the king of Lashbon, I think I said that right, Lashbon, the king of Madon, the king of Hazor, the king of Shimron, Meron, the king of Ashaph, whatever that is, the king of Tanakh, the king of Megiddo, the king of Kadesh, the king of Jokneam and Carmel, the king of Dor in the town of Napoth, Dor, the king of Goim and Gilgal. Wow, these cities and names and people are, I don't know what their parents were thinking. I think the names are bad nowadays. My goodness. The king of Tirzah, in all, 31 kings were defeated. Moving on to chapter 13. Let's see here. We are verse 13. Here we go. We're going to 24, right? That's what we have here. Okay, verse 13. When Joshua was an old man, the Lord said to him, "You are growing old, and much land remains to be conquered." Take this off. There we go. Actually, that's better without that. This is the territory. Let me make sure, guys. Sorry, there's a little delay that keeps happening. There we go. Okay. This is the territory that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and the Geshurites, and the larger territory of the Canaanites, extending from the stream of Shihor on the border of Egypt, northward to the boundary of Ekron. It includes the territory of the 5 Philistine rulers of Gaza, Ashdod, Askelon, Gath, and Ekron, the land of the Evites, or the Avites. I guess you want to call it the Avites. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. And the south also remains to be conquered. In the north, the following area has not yet been conquered in the land of the Canaanites, including Mira, which belongs to the Sidonians, stretching northward to Aphek on the border of the Amorites. Guys, I'm sorry, I got to get my tongue untied tonight. Okay. Verse 5, the land of the Jebuelites and all the Lebanon mountain area to the east, from Baal, Gad, below Mount Hermon, to Lebo Hamath. Verse 6, and at the hill country from Lebanon to Mesrephoth, Maim, including all the land of the Sidonians. I myself will drive these people out of the land ahead of the Israelites. So be sure to give this land to Israel as a special possession. There's that word again. Just as I have commanded you, verse 7, include all the territory as Israel's possession when you divide this land among the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Verse 8, half the tribe of Manasseh and the tribes of Reuben and Gad had already received their grants of land on the east side of Jordan. For Moses, the servant of the Lord, had previously assigned this land to them. Their territory extended from Aror on the edge of the Arnon Gorge, including the town in the middle of the gorge, to the plain beyond Medeba as far as Dibon. Am I saying that right? Dibon? Yeah. It also included all the towns of King Sihon of the Amorites, who had reigned in Heshbon, and extended as far as the borders of Ammon. That's a difficult chapter, but we'll do it. Verse 11, it included Gilead, the territory of kingdoms of Geshur and Makkah, all of Mount Hermon, all the Bashan as far as Salek, and all the territory of King Og and Bashan, who had reigned in Ashtaroth of Edrei. King Og was the last of the Rephaites. For Moses had attacked them and driven them out. We got this, guys. Verse 13. But the Israelites failed to drive out the people of Geshur and Makkah, so they continued to live among the Israelites to this day. Moses did not assign any allotment of the land to the tribe of Levi. Instead, remember they had over territories. They didn't get land because they worked for the tabernacle. They were I guess you could say religious men. So Moses did not assign any allotment of land to the tribe of Levi. Instead, as the Lord had promised them, their allotment came from the offerings burned on the altar to the Lord, the God of Israel. Moses, just like Paul, he never took up offerings. Moses had assigned the following area to the clans of the tribe of Reuben. Their territory extended from Aor of the edge of Arnon Gorge, including the town in the middle of the gorge, to the plain beyond Medeba. It included Heshbon and the towns on the plain, Dibon, Bamoth or Banuth, Baal, Beth, Baal, Meon. Wow, guys. Holy mackerel. Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephath, Kerethaim, Sibmath, Zareth, Shahar on the hill above the valley, Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jehamoth. The land of Reuben also included all the towns of the plain of the entire kingdom of Sihon. Sihon was the Amorite king who had reigned in Heshbon and was killed by Moses, along with the leaders of Midian, Evi, Rakim, Zur, Hur, and Reba. It's not, the whole Bible is not like a bunch of names like this. It's just they had to kind of outline these names. Did I already say it? Beth, I think I did. Where are we at? Yes, princes living in the region who were allied with Sihon. Verse 22, the Israelites had also killed Balaam, son of Beor, who used magic to tell the future. Not good. The Jordan River marked the western boundary for the tribe of Reuben. The towns and their surrounding villages in this area were given as a homeland to the clans of the tribe of Reuben. Moses had assigned the following area to the clans of the tribe of Gad. Their territory included Jazer, all the towns of Gilead, and half the land of Ammon, as far as the town of Aror? I don't know. Just west of Reba. It extended from Heshbon to Ramoth, Mizpah, and Betanim. Guys, I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. And from Mahanaim to the territory of Lodebar. In the valley were Beth Haram, Beth Nimrah, Sukkoth, Zaphron. Guys, I'm sorry. Zephon and the rest of the kingdom of King Sihon of Heshbon. The western boundary ran along the Jordan River, extended as far north as the tip of the Sea of Galilee, and then turned eastward. The towns and their surroundings, their surrounding villages in this area were given as a homeland to the clans of the tribe of Gad. Moses had assigned the following area to the clans of the half-tribe of Manasseh. Their territory extended from Mahanaim, including all the Bashan, all the former kingdom of King Og, and the 60 towns of Jair and Bashan. Verse 31, it also included half of Gilead and King Og's royal cities, Ashtaroth and Adri. All this was given to the clans of the descendants of Machir, who was Manasseh's son. These are the allotments Moses had made while he was on the plains of Moab across the Jordan River east of Jericho. I'm in a group chat and it just keeps going off and I don't know why. Let's see, verse 33. But Moses gave no allotment of land to the tribe of Judah, for the Lord, the God of Israel, had promised that he himself would be their allotment, like he said before. Chapter 14. The remaining tribes of Israel received land in Canaan as allotted by Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the tribe leaders. These 9.5 tribes received their grants of land by means of sacred lots, in accordance with the Lord's command through Moses. Moses had already given a grant of land to the 2.5 tribes on the east side of the Jordan River, but he had given the Levites no such allotment. The descendants of Joseph had become 2 separate tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. We mentioned that earlier, that that's why the tribes, you'll notice the list of tribes changed towards the last part of the Bible. And the Levites were given no land at all, only towns to live in the surrounding pasture lands for their livestock and all their possessions. So the land was distributed in strict accordance with the Lord's command to Moses. Caleb's request and inheritance. Verse 6, a delegation from the tribe of Judah, led by Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Kenizzite, came to Joshua at Gilgal. Caleb said to Joshua, remember what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, about you and me, when we were at Kadesh Barnea? I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land of Canaan. I returned and gave an honest report, but my brothers who went with me frightened the people from entering the promised land. Let's see here. For my part, I wholeheartedly followed the Lord my God. Verse 9. So that day Moses solemnly promised me the land of Canaan on which you were in which you were just walking will be your grant of land, and that your descendants forever, because you wholeheartedly followed the Lord my God. Verse 10. Now, as you can see, the Lord has kept me alive and well as he promised for all these 45 years since Moses made this promise. Even while Israel wandered in the wilderness, today I'm 85 years old. So there's his age. I am as strong now as I was when Moses sent me on that journey, and I can still travel and fight as well as I could then. That's what I'm talking about. Strong-willed man. So give me the hill country that the Lord promised me. You will remember that you'll remember that as scouts we found the descendants of Anak living there. I think that was the giants it's referring to. And great walled towns. But if the Lord is with me, and he is, I will drive them out of the land just as the Lord said. So Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave Hebron to him as his portion of the land. Hebron still belongs to the descendants of Caleb on Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, because the wholeheartedly followed the Lord. I'll start over again. He wholeheartedly followed the Lord, the God of Israel. We got this. This is going to be fun. Verse 15. Previously, Hebron had been called Kiriath Arba. It had been named after Arba, a great hero of the descendants of Anak. And the land had rest from war. Okay, chapter 15. We're moving on, guys. So, I think there's only 24 chapters in this. It's going to be quick. Chapter 15, verse 1. The allotment for the clans of the tribe of Judah reached southward to the border of Edom. Let's see here. Yes, the border of Edom. As far south as the wilderness of Zin. The southern boundary began at the south bay of the Dead Sea. Ran south on Scorpion Pass in the wilderness of Zin, and then went south of Kadesh Barnea to Hezron. Then it went up to Adar, where it's turned from Karka. Wow, that's a name, Karka. Then, Karka. Wow. From there, it passed to Asman until it finally reached the brook of Egypt, which it followed to the Mediterranean Sea. This was their southern boundary. So he's identifying all these boundaries, just like in the last books. The eastern boundary extended along the Dead Sea to the mouth of the Jordan River. The northern boundary began at the bay where the Jordan River empties into the Dead Sea. Verse 6 says, went up from there a Beth Hagla, then proceeded north of the Beth Araba, or Araba, to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was Reuben's son, or Bohan. From that point, it was through the valley of Achor to Debir, turning north toward Gilgal, which is across from the slopes of Adamim on the south side of the valley. From there, the boundary extended to the springs of En Shemesh and on to En Rogel, or Rogal. The boundary then passed through the valley of Ben Hinnom, or Hinnom, verse 8, along the southern slopes of the Jebusites where the city of Jerusalem is located. Then it went west to the top of the mountain above the valley of Hinnom, or Hinnom, and on up to the northern end of the valley of Rephaim, I think it is. From there, the boundary extended from the top of the mountain to the spring at the waters of Nephtoah, and from there to the towns of Mount Ephron, or Ephron. Then it turned toward Bela, that is, Kiriath Jearim. The boundary circled, The boundary circled west to Bela to Mount Seir, passed along to the town of Casalon on the northern slope of Mount Jearim, and went down to Beth Shemesh on to Timnah. Well, guys, I thought when I got down through Levitical law and Leviticus and all that, Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, that we would have got through all these names and borders. But I tell you what, some of this stuff's tough, but we're still going to make it fun. And I'm telling you, this is going to light up. This gets really interesting if you guys stay with me on this reading. We'll do a lot of stopping and teaching nuggets as we go when we get past all this. So stay with me. We're doing good. Verse 11, Joshua 15:11. The boundary then proceeded to the slope of the hill north of Ekron, where it turned toward Shikharon and Mount Bela. It passed Jabneel and ended up at the Mediterranean Sea. The western boundary was the shoreline of the Mediterranean Sea. There are the boundaries for the clans of the tribe of Judah. The Lord commanded, verse 13, Joshua to assign some of Judah's territory to Caleb, son of Jephunneh. So Caleb was given the town of Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, which had been named after Anak's ancestor. So verse 14, Caleb drove out the three groups of Anakites, the descendants of Shesai, Ahiman, and Telmai, the sons of Anak. From there, he went to fight against the people living in the town of Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer. I don't know how they kept track of these names, guys. Verse 17, we're in Joshua 15, verse 17. Othniel, the son of Caleb's brother Kenaz, was the one who conquered it, so Akash, or Ashah, became Othniel's wife. You guys, these names. Verse 18, when Ashah married Othniel, she urged him to ask her father. Well, remember there's somebody named Gomer later in the Bible too. She urged him to ask her father for a field. As she got down off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What's the matter?" She said, "Give me another gift. You've already given me land in the Negev. Now please give me springs of water too." So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. Verse 20. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Judah. The towns of Judah situated along the borders of Edom in the extreme south were Kebzael, Eder, Zagur, I think it's Zagur, right? Kena, Dimona, Edada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph or Zaif, Telem, Bethoth or Baloth, Hazor, Kadatha, Kerioth, Hezron, that is Hazor or Hazor, Amam, Shema, Meleda, Hazar, Gada, Heshmon, Beth Palet, Hazar or Hazer, Shaul, Beersheba, Bezothia. You guys know Beersheba. We're going to hear more about her. Bela, Lim or Lim, Azim, Eltalad, Kesel, Horma, Ziklag, Magmana, Sananana, Sansana, Labaoth, Shalahim, did I get that right? Ain and Rimmon, 29 towns with their surrounding villages. Well, that was a challenge, wasn't it, guys? Wow. So, where did we just leave off? I lost my place. Somebody, what verse we just leave off on, guys? I lost it. I lost what I had there. Help me out. Where are we at? Let's see. The following towns situated in the west foothills were also given to Judah: Eshcol, Zorah, and Eshna. All right, here we go. No one was there to help me, but that's all right. I got it. Zano and Ganim, Tapua, Anam, Zarmuth, Adullam, Sako, Azekah, Sharaim, Adachem, Gedera, and Gederothaim, 14 towns with their surrounding villages. Also included were Zanan, Hadeshah, Migdal, Gad, Dilian, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Cabon, Lechmam, Kitlish, Gadaroth, Beth Dagon, Nema, and Makkedah, 16 towns with their surrounding villages. Try that one twice without stuttering, guys. Wow. That's okay. We're going to make it fun. I don't care. Joshua 15:42. Besides these, there were Libnah, Ether, or Ashen, Iftah, Ashna, Nabib, Keilah, Ekzib, and Marishah, 9 towns with their surrounding villages. The territory of the tribe of Judah also included Ekron and its surrounding settlements and villages. From Ekron, the boundary extended west and included the towns near Ashdod and their surrounding villages. So the Bible gives you everything, guys. That's crazy. So it also included Ashdod, which is surrounding settlements and villages of Gaza and its settlements and villages as far as the brook of Egypt and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Judah, verse 48. Judah also received the following towns in the hill country: Shamir, Jatir, and Succo, Dana, Kiriath, Sana, that is Debir, Anab, Ethmo, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 towns were their surrounding villages. Also, verse 52, were their towns of Arab, Duma, and Eshon. Jenin, Beth Tapua, Epakah, Humna, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior, 9 towns with their surrounding villages. Besides these, verse 55, there were Manan, Carmel. So God's making sure you don't think it's the same thing. He's naming everything over and over and saying, besides those, so you're not mixing the two together. God is so perfect in his word. Man. Besides these were Manan, Carmel, Ziph, and Zudah. Jezreel, Zokdim, Zanoah, Cain, Kabeah, and Timnah, 10 towns with their surrounding villages. In addition, there were Hula, or Helhul, Bethzur, Gador, Marah, Bethanath, and Elikon, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. There were also Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 towns with their surrounding villages. In the wilderness, there were the towns of Beth Araba, Medin, Sekakah, Nibshan, the city of Salt, I like that one, and Engedi, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. But the tribe of Judah could not drive out the Jebusites who lived in the city of Jerusalem. So the Jebusites lived there among the people of Judah to this day. I want you guys to process. That might be one to circle and look up. You guys, there's a lot of stuff in Scripture if you just look. Even when you think there's nothing there, there's something there. So, verse 63, that was a wrap. So we're going to chapter 16. Excuse me. Verse 1, the allotment for their descendants of Joseph extended from the Jordan River near Jericho, east of the springs of Jericho, through the wilderness and into the hill country of Bethel. We know Bethel is the house of bread. Bethlehem, house of bread. From Bethel, that is Luz, that should ring a bell. We mentioned early in Genesis. It ran over to Ataroth in the territory of Archites. Then it descended westward to the territory of Japhletites as far as lower Beth Horon, then to Gazer and over to the Mediterranean Sea. Joshua 16:4. This was the homeland allocated to the families of Joseph's sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. The following territory was given to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. The boundary of their homeland began at Ataroth, Adar, in the east. From there it ran to the upper Beth Horon. Then onto the Mediterranean Sea from Mikmethath. On the north, the boundary curved eastward past Tanath, Shiloh, to the east of Jonah. When Janoah is turned From Genoa, it turned southward to Adaroth and Nerah, touched Jericho, and ended at the Jordan River. From Tapua, the boundary extended westward, following the Cana ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. In addition, some towns with their surrounding villages in the territory allocated to the half-tribe of Manasseh were set aside for the tribe of Ephraim. Verse 10. They did not drive the Canaanites out of Gezer. However, so the people of Gezer live as slaves among the people of Ephraim to this day. Chapter 17. We'll take a quick little break, and we got this, you guys. This is fun. Is this better? No, that's not better. We're gonna wear glasses. All right. My superpowers, reading powers. Chapter 17, verse 1. Y'all on TikTok, you okay? All right. Cool. Joshua 17, verse 1. The next allotment of land was given to the half-tribe of Manasseh, to the descendants of Joseph's older son. Machir, the firstborn son of Manasseh, was the father of Gilead, because the descendants were experienced soldiers. The regions of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of the Jordan had already been given to them. So the allotment of the west side of Jordan was for the remaining families within the clans of the tribe of Manasseh: Abiezer, Halek, Israel, not Israel, but Eshriel, Shechem, Hefer, and Shamidah. These clans represent the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Remember, Ephraim and Manasseh come from Joseph. That's why you see the tribes' names change. Same tribes, it just changed. Joshua 17:3. However, Zelophehad, a descendant of Hefer, or Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons. He had only daughters whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. I said this yesterday. Isn't it fascinating that besides Mother Mary, all the women that lead to the lineage of Jesus, meaning all the genealogies, women were not in high regard at all, which is funny because the women usually made the discoveries. And if a man was trying to hide this book, they sure wouldn't have used a first century woman to do it, because they weren't even trusted. But I also want to mention something else. Even though this sounds like it's related to women, it's related to races. Think about this. That if you look at all the females in the genealogy of Jesus that are in there, there's only 4, not counting Mary. All of them are Gentiles. They're not Jewish. Ruth, I think it is. I can't remember all of them. Beersheba, I can't remember. There's 4. The prostitute that was the 2 witnesses went to see, I can't remember. Not Hagar, but anyway, there's 4 of them. The point is, there's 4 Gentile women that all married 4, well, actually different men, but married Jewish men. So you have Gentile women, the bride, we're Gentiles, we're a bride, Eve, we're the bride, we're the church, and the Jewish men married the women. It's almost like Jews and Gentiles as one, married together. It's not supposed to be separated. God was so good in preserving his word, he even put 4 Gentile women so that the family would be a mixture today, Jews and Gentiles alike. That's awesome. I don't care who you are. That is awesome. My goodness. Okay, I think I already read this. We're going to read it again. However, Joshua 17:3. However, Zelophehad, a descendant of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, I know I read this, had no sons. He had only daughters whose names were Melha, Noah, Hoglah, Noah is a woman, not good, Milcah, and Tirzah. That's what I want to make a point about. These women, verse 4, came to Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the Israelite leaders, and said, the Lord commanded Moses to give us a grant of land along the men of our tribe, along with the men of our tribe. So Joshua gave them a grant of land along with their uncles, as the Lord had commanded. As a result, verse 5, Manasseh's total allocation came to 10 parcels of land, in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River. It's hard for me to look at both cameras and the phones and webcams all at once, so you guys just have to follow my eyes. Verse 6, because the female descendants of Manasseh received a grant of land along with the male descendants, the land of Gilead was given to the rest of the male descendants of Manasseh. Verse 7, the boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended from the border of Asher and Mikmathath. What a name, Mikmathath. Near Shechem. Then the border went south from Mikmath to the settlement near the spring of Tapua. The land surrounding Tapua belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tapua itself on the border of Manasseh's territory belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. or Ephraim. Verse 9, from the spring of Tapua, the boundary of Manasseh followed the Kanah ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. Several towns south of the ravine were inside Manasseh's territory, but they actually belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. So this stuff is hard to follow, but this is all the borders and names and all that. Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. You get a lot of this. We get a lot of these territories and all this, how it all started, the numbers, the tribes. Sure, some of it can be monotonous, but it's all necessary, and it all has stuff in there that you can dig out, and you can mine the good stuff. It's so good. It's just so good. Verse 10, we're going to move on to. Are we having fun yet or what? Okay. In general, however, the land south of the ravine belonged to Ephraim. The land north of the ravine belonged to Manasseh. Manasseh's boundary ran along the northern side of the ravine and it ended in the Mediterranean Sea. At the Mediterranean Sea. North of Manasseh was the territory of Asher, and to the east was the territory of Issachar. Okay. Verse 11, the following towns with the territory of Issachar and Asher, however, were given to Manasseh: Bethon or Bethshan, Ibleam, Dor, that is Nephoth or Naphoth, Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, each with their surrounding settlements. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. Verse 14. The descendants of Joseph came to Joshua and asked, why have you given us only one portion of land as our homeland when the Lord has blessed us with so many people? The land's been an issue even till today in 2026. My goodness. Joshua replied, if there are so many of you in the hill country of Ephraim, it's not large enough for you. Clear out land for yourselves in the forest where the Perizzites and the Rephaites live. The descendants of Joseph responded, it's true that the hill country is not large enough for us, but all the Canaanites in the lowlands have iron chariots, but both those in Bethshan and its surrounding settlements and those in the valley of Jezreel, they are too strong for us. Then Joshua, verse 17, said to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph, since you are so large and strong, you will be given more than one portion. Verse 18. Here we go. The forest of the hill country will be yours as well. Clear as much of the land as you wish and take possession of its farthest corners, and you will drive out the Canaanites from the valleys too, even though they are strong and have iron chariots. Iron chariots. Okay, that wraps up chapter 17. I had to baptize my tonsils. I need something. I brought something cold to drink too. I brought some of this. It's like I get it at Kroger's. It's like a what do you call it? Oh my goodness, grapefruit. It's like a grapefruit drink. Okay, let's do this. The allotment of the remaining land. Now that chapter 18, verse 1. Now that the land was under Israelite control, the entire community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle. But there remained 7 tribes who had not yet been allotted their grants of lands, the grants of land. Then Joshua, verse 3, asked them, how long are you going to wait before taking possession of the remaining land of the Lord, the land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out to explore the land and map it out. They will then return to me with a written report of their proposed divisions of their new homeland. Let them divide the land into 7 sections, excluding Judah's territory in the south and Joseph's territory in the south. Verse 6, and when you record the 7 divisions of the land and bring them to me, I will cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord our God to assign land to each tribe. This is good, good, good. Okay. Okay, the Levites, verse 7, however, will not receive any allotment of land. The role of priests as priests of the Lord as their allotment. And the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and their half-tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more land, for they have already received their land, a grant of land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them on the east side of Jordan River. Verse 8, as the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua commanded them, go and explore the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will assign the land to the tribes by casting sacred lots here in the presence of the Lord at Shiloh. Then men did as they were told and mapped the entire territory into 7 sections, listing the towns in each section. They made a written record and then returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. All right. And there at Shiloh, Joshua cast lots in the presence of the Lord and determined which tribe should have each section. The first allotment, verse 11, the first allotment of the land went to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. It lay between the territory assigned to the tribes of Judah and Joseph. You guys can map out years, dates, and genealogies all through this stuff in the Bible. It's amazing. Verse 12. The northern boundary of Benjamin's land began at the Jordan River, went north. The northern boundary of Benjamin's land began at the Jordan River, went north to the slope of Jericho, then west through the hill country in the wilderness of Bethaven. From there, the boundary went south to Luz, that is Bethel, and proceeded down to Adar, on the hill that lies south of Lower Beth-horon. Verse 14. The boundary then made a turn and swung south along the western edge of the hill facing Beth-horon, ending at the village of Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, a town belonging to the tribe of Judah. This was the western boundary. The southern boundary began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim. From the western point, it ran into the spring at the waters of Nephtoah and down to the base of the mountain beside the valley of Benohim. Is that Benohim? Am I saying that right? Benohim. Yeah. Why am I losing my place here? At the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. From there, it went down to the valley of Hinnom, crossing south of the slope where the Jebusites lived, and continued down to En Rogel. From En Rogel, the boundary proceeded in the northerly direction and came to En Shamish, and on the Gilead, which is across from the slopes of Adumim. Yeah. Then it went down to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was Reuben's son. Verse 18. Then there it passed. Guys, I need to wake up. From there, it passed along the north side of the slope overlooking the Jordan Valley. The border went down into the valley, ran past the north slope of Beth Hogla, and ended at the north bay of the Dead Sea. Guys, I'm stuttering a lot. All right. Which is the southern end of the Jordan River. This was the southern boundary. Verse 20. The eastern boundary was the Jordan River. There were boundaries of the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. These were the towns given to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin: Jericho, Beth, Hogla, Emek, and Kaziz. Beth, Arabah, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Parah, and Oprah. There's the word Oprah. I didn't know. I know Orpah from the book of Ruth is in there, but I didn't know Oprah was in there. So she's in there. Oprah. I wouldn't have guessed Oprah. That's interesting. Verse 24, Kaphar, Ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns with their surrounding villages. Also Gibeon, Ramah, Beroth, Mizpah, Keparah, Mozah, Rakim, Erpil, Teralah. Wow. Imagine being a kid learning your name if you had that. Zela, Heloth, the Zebulite town that is Jerusalem, Kabiah, and Kiriath Jearim, 14 towns with their surrounding villages. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. That was a rough chapter, but that's all right. We're going to do it. God is good. Glory to God. We're moving on. Joshua 19, verse 1. The second allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Simeon. Their homeland was surrounded by Judah's territory. Simeon's homeland included Beersheba, Sheba, Meladah, Hazer, Shual, Bela, Ezam, Eltolad, Bethul, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markabah, Hazer, Suzah, Beth Leboath, and Sherahan, 13 towns with their surrounding villages. It also included Ain, Ramin, Ether, and Ashan, 4 towns with their villages, including all the surrounding villages as far south as Bethlehem, as Baal-Lethbeer, is known as Ramah of the Negev. Can you imagine trying to remember your family history? Come on, guys. Wow. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Simeon. Their allocation of land came from part of what he had been given to Judah because the Judah's territory was too large for them. So the tribe of Simeon received an allocation within the territory of Judah. Does that make sense? They have territories, they don't get property because they're Levitical priests. The third allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Zebulun. The boundary of Zebulun's homeland started at Sarid or Sarid. From there it went west, going past Marlah, touching Debesheth, and proceeding to the brook east of Jechnim. Verse 12. In the other direction, the boundary went east from Sarid to the border of Kishloth Tabor, and from there to Dabaroth, and up to Japhia. Verse 13. Then it continued east to Gath Hafer, Eth-Kazin and Rimmon, and turned toward Nia. Why am I stumbling over my words so bad tonight? Oh, okay. The northern boundary of Zebulun passed Hennathon and ended in the valley of Ipthahel. The towns in these areas included Katah, Nechalel, Shimron, Idalah, Bethlehem, 12 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Zebulun included these towns and their surrounding villages. The fourth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Issachar. Its boundaries included the following towns: Jezreel, Shunem, Hephraim, Shine, Anaharath, Rabbith, Kishion, Abez, Ramaeth, and Ganim, and Hada, and Beth Pazaz. The boundary also touched Tabor, Shahazumah, and Beth-Shemesh. Beth Shemesh. Ended at the Jordan River, 16 towns with their surrounding villages. We got this, guys. Verse 23. The homeland allotted to the clans of the tribe of Issachar included these towns and their surrounding villages. Very monotonous, but it's all good. The inheritance of Asher. So, I'm going to rest my tonsils for a minute. You guys having fun or what? I don't usually take breaks, but some of this stuff can be long-winded. Britt, you can join me on Facebook Live if you want to. Whatever you'd like. But I'm glad to have you. We're in Joshua chapter 19 at verse 24, taking a quick breather, and we're going through the Bible, Genesis to Revelation. Okay. That's all the break we get. We're about to get lit here in just a minute. Excited. We're gonna get busy doing this. Joshua 19:24. The fifth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Asher. Its boundaries included these towns: Helkath, Haleh, Batain, Ashpath, Elimelech, Amad, and Mishal. The boundary of the west touched Carmel and Shihor Libnath. Then it turned east toward Beth Dagon, and ran as far as Zebulun in the valley of Ipthahel, going north to Beth-Emek and Neiel. It then continued north to Kabul, Abdon, Rahab, Hammon, Kanah, as far as Greater Sidon. Then the boundary turned toward Ramah and the fortress of Tyre, where it turned toward Hoshah, and came to the Mediterranean Sea. The territory also included Mehabel, Akzib, Umah, Ephek, Rahab, 22 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Asher included these towns and their surrounding villages. So I'm telling you, they're going through all the numbers, all the camp numbers. Now they're going through all the tribes and all the towns that the tribes inhabit. So it's long-winded, but it's good. So the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Asher included these towns and their surroundings. So this is Naphtali. 1932 of Joshua. The sixth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Naphtali. Its boundary ran from Halef, from the oak of Zenanim, and extended across to Adami, Necabe, Jabneel, and as far as Lakum, ended at the as far as Lakum, ending at the Jordan River. The western boundary ran past Asnoth, Tabor, then Hukok, and touched the border of Zebulun in the south, the border of Asher on the west, and the Jordan River on the east. Stay with me, you guys. It's worth it. Verse 35, Joshua 19:35. The fortified towns included in this territory were Zedim, Zer, Hamath, Raketh, Kinnereth, Adamah, Ramah. That's the name I was trying to think of earlier. The Ramah. There it is. Ramah, Kadesh, Adre, En Hazor, Giron or Yiron, Migdal, Horam, Bethanah, and Beth Shamash. 19 towns with their surrounding villages. Woo, that'll put you to sleep, if not wake you up, one or the other. The seventh allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Dan. Dan allotted as their homeland. The land allotted as their homeland included the following towns: Zorah, Eshtaol, Shemesh, Shalaban, Azalon, Ithla, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Elikah, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Ben Barak, Gath Rameen. Am I saying that? Gath Rimon, Mijarkin, or Jakan, Mekon, Rekon, and the territory across from Joppa. But the tribe of Dan had trouble taking possession of their land, so they attacked the town of Laish. They captured it, slaughtered its people, and settled there. They renamed the town Dan after their ancestor. Woo, boy! Tell you what, that ain't no joke. You got to get some name practice down before you read this. Okay. So the inheritance of Joshua. Joshua 19:49. After all the land was divided into the tribes, the Israelites gave a piece of the land to Joshua as his allocation. For the Lord had said he could have any town he wanted. He chose Timnah, Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim. He rebuilt the town and lived there. Verse 51. Chapter 19 of Joshua, verse 51. These are the territories of Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the tribal leaders allocated as grants of land to the tribes of Israel, man, by casting sacred lots in the presence of the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle, Shiloh. We'll hear that name again. So the division of the land was completed. Chapter 20, the cities of refuge. The Lord said to Joshua, now tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge as I instructed Moses. Verse 3. Anyone who kills another person accidentally or unintentionally can run to one of these cities. Remember, we wrote about that previously. They can go get refuge there. There will be places of refuge from relatives seeking revenge for the person who was killed. Verse 4. Upon reaching one of these cities, the one who caused the death will appear before the elders of the city gate, and present his case. They must allow him to enter the city and give him a place to live among them. If the relatives of the victim come to avenge the killing, the leaders must not release the slayer to them, for he killed the other person unintentionally without previous hostility. But the slayer must slay in that city if he be tried by the local assembly, which is, my goodness, you guys, what's my deal today? Which will render a judgment. We're in verse 6 of Joshua 20. And he must continue to live in that city until the death of the high priest who was in office at the time of the accident. After that, he is free to return to his own home in the town from which he fled. Okay. They don't play around, man. Okay. The following cities were designated as cities of refuge: Kadesh of Galilee in the hill country of Naphtali, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. On the east side of the Jordan River, across from Jericho, the following cities were designated: Bezer and the wilderness plain of, hold on one second. Okay, let's see. Where was I at? in the hill country of Naphtali, Shechem, and the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. Okay. Verse 8. On the east side of the Jordan River, across from Jericho, the following cities were designated Bezer, in the wilderness plain of the tribe of Judah, Ramoth and Gilead, in the territory of the tribe of Gad, and Golan and Bashan, in the land of the tribe of Manasseh. Okay, verse 9. These cities were set apart for all the Israelites as well as the foreigners who live among them. Anyone who accidentally killed another person could take refuge in one of these cities. In this way, they could escape from being killed in revenge prior to standing trial before the local assembly. Woo, boy. You guys, I'm going to admit, this has been one of my harder ones because I'm a bit tired, and this is probably a lot more difficult than I actually knew it was. I didn't know too much about this chapter, so I'm enjoying a little brief moment here. We're going to go to chapter 21. Anybody have any questions? Because I can't answer them on this chapter. I don't know. I need to definitely do a lot more research. That's why you notice I'm not doing a lot of teaching in between. I'm not going to just spit stuff out if I don't have the stuff. So. All right, give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me on Facebook, TikTok, you too. Thumbs up. I know it's not for everybody, but if you guys want to do a Bible study and you want to do it through audio and you want to normally get a little nuggets in between along the way, this is a fun dynamic of both. We haven't done that on this chapter, only because I'm not familiar with it. There's actually lots of things I'm not familiar with, man. I definitely don't have it right. You know what I mean? But you can't get the word in your heart if you don't read it. You got to read it. I mean, there's a requirement to get it. You have to read it. You guys ready? Let's go to chapter 21. Joshua chapter 21, verse 1. Then the leaders of the tribe of Levi came to consult with Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the leaders of the other tribes of Israel. They came to them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us towns to live in and pasture lands for our livestock." So by the command of the Lord, the people of Israel gave the Levites the following towns and pasture lands out of their own grants of land. Press on, hosts. You got this. These people were led to Egypt. Now they blessed with beautiful land. Man, you're awesome, John. I love you, buddy. So by the command of the Lord, the people gave the Levites the following towns and pasture lands out of their own grants of land that gave from their increase. Wow. That's pretty amazing. And look who they gave to. I mean, come on. Joshua 21:4. The descendants of Aaron, who were members of the Kohathite clan within the tribe of Levi, were allotted 13 towns that were originally assigned to the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The other families of Kohathite clan were allotted 10 towns from the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. The clan of Gershon was allotted 13 towns from the tribe of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the half-tribe of Manasseh and Bashan. The clan of Merari was allotted 12 sons from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites obeyed the Lord's commands to Moses, and assigned these towns and pasture lands to the Levites by casting sacred lots. I think that's what they use, the Urim and the Thummim. The Urim and Thummim. I can't say it right. The two stones inside the breastplate on the ephod and the tabernacle. I think it's how they used to make decisions by throwing these stones, black or white ones. I don't know. Something like that. So, okay. Sacred lots. They cast lots for Jesus' outfit too. My goodness. To the descendants of Aaron, who were members of the Kohathite clan with the tribe of Levi, since the sacred lot fell to them first, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah, along with its surrounding pasture lands. Arba was an ancestor of Anak. That's probably where they get Star Wars gets the name Anakin, is my guess. Where'd we go? Where'd I leave off, you guys? Come on now, help me out here. Call with land, follow first, Karabam. Yes, verse 12. Okay. But the open fields beyond the town and the surrounding villages were given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, as his possession. The following towns with their pasture lands were given to descendants of Aaron, the priest: Hebron, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone. So if you accidentally murder somebody, there's a place set aside for you. It's not jail, but it's like they still get to tell you where to go. Verse 14. Eshthomo. Jatir Eshtemoa. Holon Debir. Verse 16. Ain or Een. Zudah and Beth Shemesh. 9 towns from these 2 tribes. We got this. I'm not afraid. Bring it on. From the tribe of Benjamin, the priests were given the following towns with their pasture lands: Gibeon, Geba, Anathoth, and Almon, 4 towns. So in all, 13 towns with their pasture lands were given to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. The rest of the Kohathite clan from the tribe of Levi was allotted the following towns and pasture lands from the tribe of Ephraim: Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Gezer, Kibzaim, and Beth Horon, 4 towns. The following towns of pasture lands were allotted to the priests from the tribe of Dan: Eltekeh, Gibbethon, Ajalon, and Gath Ramon. 4 towns. 4 towns that have Ajon and Gathon Ramon. 4 towns. That's what it's saying. The half tribe of Manasseh allotted the following why can't I talk tonight? That's okay. Praise the Lord. The half tribe. I want to do this again. We're going to get this thing right. This is going to be good. I'm serious. I ain't messing around. The half tribe of Manasseh allotted the following towns with their pasture lands to the priests: Tanakh and Gath Ramon, 2 towns. So in all, 10 towns with their pasture lands were given to the rest of the Kohathite clan. The descendants of Gershon, another clan with the tribe of Levi, receiving the following towns with their pasture lands from the half tribe of Manasseh: Golan and Bashan, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone, and Ber Esterah, 2 towns. From the tribe of Issachar, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Kashian, Daberath, Jarmuth, and En-Ganim, 4 towns. From the tribe of Asher, they received a lot of talking. The following towns with their pasture lands: Kishion, Daberath, Jarmuth, and En-Ganim, 4 towns. From the tribe of Asher, they received the following towns with their pasture lands. You got to push through. Actually, believe it or not, this can hurt your throat when you read a lot. We're going to do it anyway, though. Okay, back it up. The following towns with their pasture lands: Mishal, Abdon, Helkath, and Rehob, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Kadesh in Galilee, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Hamath-dor and Kartan, 3 towns. So in all, 13 towns with their pasture lands were allotted to the clan of Gershon. In Jesus' name, Father, thank you for the opportunity to do this. Heal my throat right now. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to push through. It's going to be awesome. Okay, Mishal and Abon. Helkath and Rehob, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received the following towns with their pasture lands. I know I read this already, but that's all right. Wait, did we? Mishal and Abdon. Helkath and Rehob, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received the following towns in their pasture lands: Kadesh and Galilee. Oh, I did read this. A city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone: Hamath-dor and Kartan, 3 towns. So in all, 13 towns with their pasture lands were allotted to the clan of Gershon. So moving on. Sorry about that, guys. Those people were allowed out of Egypt. Yeah. Okay. We got this. The rest of the Levites, the Merari clan, were given the following towns with their pasture lands from the tribe of Zebulun: Jokneam, Kartath, Dimnah, and Nehalal, 4 towns. From the tribe of Reuben, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Bezer, Jahaz, Kedemoth, and Mephioth, 4 towns. From the tribe of Gad, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Ramoth and Gilead, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Mahanaim. Ooh, boy. Heshbon and Jazer, 4 towns. So in all, 12 towns were allotted to the clan of Merari. The total number of towns, I'm going to keep going. We got this. The total number of towns and pasture lands within Israelite territory given to the Levites came to 48. Not a lot of study teachings in this one, but there will be coming up. Every one of these towns had pasture lands surrounding it, so the Lord gave to Israel all the land he had sworn to give their ancestors, and they took possession of it and settled there. Verse 44, and the Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had solemnly promised their ancestors. None of their enemies could stand against them. For the Lord helped them conquer all their enemies. Not a single one of all the good promises the Lord had given to the family of Israel was left unfulfilled. Everything had been spoken. He had spoken. How'd I come up with that? I know I'm being attacked, but I'm going to fight through it. This is fun. This is fun, y'all. Not a single one was good promise of God. He has given the family of Israel was left unfulfilled. Everything he had spoken came true. That's right. Chapter 22. Here we go. Eastern tribes return home. Joshua 22:1. Then Joshua called together the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. He told them, promises make. That's right. He told them, you have done as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and you have obeyed every order I've given you. During all this time, you have not deserted the other tribes. You have been careful to obey the commands of the Lord, your God, right up to the present day. And now the Lord your God has given the other tribes rest, as he promised them. So go back home to the land of Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you as your possession on the east side of the Jordan River. Verse 5. But be very careful to obey all the commands and the instructions that Moses gave you. Love the Lord your God, walk in all his ways, obey his commands, hold firmly to him, and serve him with all your heart and all your soul. So Joshua blessed them and sent them away. And they went home. Moses had given the land of Bashan east of the Jordan River to the half-tribe of Manasseh. The other half of the tribe was given land west of the Jordan, as Joshua sent them away and blessed them. Verse 8. He said to them, go back to your homes with the great wealth you have taken from your enemies, the vast herds of livestock, the silver, gold, bronze, and iron. Those are judgment metal. Bronze, of course, is judgment. And a large supply of clothing. Share the plunder with your relatives. Verse 9. So the men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh left the rest of Israel at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. They started the journey back to their own land of Galilee. I don't know what's going on here. The territory that belonged to them according to the Lord's command through Moses. Okay, verse 10. But while they were still in Canaan, and when they came to a place called Geliloth, near the Jordan River, the men of Reuben, Gad, and half-tribe of Manasseh stopped to build a large and imposing altar. A large and imposing altar. Why is that? Wow. The rest of them just made me think about something. The rest of Israel heard that the people of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh had built an altar at Geliloth at the edge of the land of Canaan on the west side of the Jordan River. So the whole community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and prepared to go to war against them. First, however, they sent a delegation led by Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, to talk to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. In this delegation were 10 leaders of Israel, one from each of the 10 tribes, and each the head of his family within the clans of Israel. When they arrived in the land of Gilead, they said to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, the whole community of the Lord demands to know why you are betraying the God of Israel. How could you turn away from the Lord and build an altar for yourselves and rebellious against him? Are we good? We're good. Was our sin impure not enough? To this day we are not fully cleansed of it, even after the plague that struck the entire community of the Lord. Verse 18. And yet today you are turning away from following the Lord. If you rebel against the Lord today, he will be angry with all of us tomorrow. Verse 19. If you need the altar because the land you possess is defiled, then join us in the Lord's land, where the tabernacle of the land is situated. The tabernacle of the Lord is situated. And share our land with us. Right there. But do not, circle that. But do not rebel against the Lord or against us by building an altar other than the one true altar of the Lord our God. Wow. Oh, I didn't watch them. Okay, verse 20. Joshua 22:20. Didn't divine anger fall on the entire community of Israel when Achan, a member of the clan of Zerah, sinned by stealing the things set apart for the Lord? He was not the only one who died because of his sin. Verse 21. Then the Lord of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh answered the heads of the clans of Israel. Verse 22. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. Say it this way. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. He knows the truth, and may Israel know it too. We have not built the altar in treacherous rebellion against the Lord. If we have done so, do not spare our lives this day. If we have built an altar for ourselves to turn away from the Lord, or to offer burnt offerings, or grain offerings, or peace offerings, may the Lord himself punish us. Okay, moving on to verse 24. Okay. Man, my phone is blowing me up. The truth is, we have built this altar because we fear that in the future your descendants will say to ours, what right do you have to worship the Lord, the God of Israel? The Lord has placed the Jordan River as a barrier between our people and you, people of Reuben and Gad. You have no claim to the Lord, so your descendants may prevent our descendants from worshiping the Lord. Verse 26. So we decided to build the altar, not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a memorial. It will remind us, our descendants and your descendants, that we too have the right to worship the Lord at his sanctuary with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and peace offerings. Then your descendants will not be able to say to us, you have no claim to the Lord. Verse 28. If they say this, our descendants can reply, look at this copy of the Lord's altar that our ancestors made. It's not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. It is a reminder of the relationship both of us have with the Lord. Far be it from us to rebel against the Lord or turn away from him by building our own altar for burnt offerings, grain offerings, or sacrifices. Only the altar of the Lord our God that stands in front of the tabernacle may be used for that purpose. When the Phinehas, however you say that, verse 30, the priests of the leaders of the community, the heads of the clans of Israel, heard this from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, they were satisfied. Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, replied to them, today we know the Lord is among us because you have not committed this treachery against the Lord as we thought. Instead, you've rescued Israel from being destroyed by the land of the Lord. Destroyed by the hand of the Lord. The Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, and the other leaders left the tribes of Reuben and Gad and Gilead. In Jesus' name, we got this. And returned to the land of Canaan to tell the Israelites what had happened. And all the Israelites were satisfied and praised God and spoke no more of war against Reuben and Gad. The people of Reuben and Gad named the altar Witness, for they said, it is a witness between us and them that the Lord is our God too. That's interesting. Circle that verse and go do some parallel searching on it. Let's see here. Verse 34. The people of Reuben and Gad named the altar Witness, for they said, it is a witness between us and them that the Lord is our God too. Chapter 23, Joshua is charged, in other words, he has something for Israel leaders, for the leaders there. Joshua 23:1. The years passed and the Lord had given the people of Israel rest from all their enemies. Joshua, who is now very old, called together all the elders, leaders, judges, and officers to Israel. He said to them, I am now a very old man. You have seen everything the Lord your God has done for you during my lifetime. The Lord your God has fought for you against your enemies. Verse 4. I have allotted to you as your homeland all the land of the nations yet unconquered, as well as the land of those we have already conquered from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. This land will be yours, for the Lord your God will himself drive out all the people living there now. God's going to take care of it. Man, you will now take possession of their land just as the Lord your God promised you. Verse 6. So be careful. Blah, 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 blah. My goodness. Be careful to follow everything Moses wrote. in the book of instruction. That's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. It's the Torah. It's what the Jews call the Torah. First books. We just finished them. Do not deviate from it, turning either to the right or to the left. Make sure you do not associate with the other people still remaining in the land. Do not even mention the names of their gods, much less swear by them or serve them or worship them. Rather, cling tightly to the Lord your God, as you have done until now. For the Lord has driven out great and powerful nations for you, and no one has yet been able to defeat you. Verse 10, each one of you will put to flight 1,000 of the enemy, for the Lord your God fights with you, as he has promised. That was a weird one, flight and fight. So be careful to love the Lord your God, but if you turn away from him and cling to the customs of the survivors of these nations remaining among you, and if you intermarry with them, then now that's okay. Glory to God. Then know for certain that the Lord your God will no longer drive them out of the land. Instead, they will be a snare and a trap to you, a whip for your backs and thorny brambles in your eyes, and you will vanish from this good land the Lord your God has given you. We're going to keep reading because we're going to do this thing. I love the word. I don't care what happens. We're going to fight. Okay, verse 14. Soon I will die, just like Moses did, going the way of everything on earth. Deep in your hearts, you know that every promise of the Lord your God has come true. Not a single one has failed. Verse 15. But as surely as the Lord your God has given you the good things he promised, he will also bring disaster on you if you disobey him. He will completely destroy you from this good land he has given you. If you break the covenant of the Lord your God by worshiping and serving other gods, his anger will burn against you, and you will quickly vanish from the good land he has given you. Did you guys hear that? That sounds a lot like your name will be removed out of the book of life in the book of Revelation. If this book, Joshua, represents Jesus or Yeshua or Yahashua, there's a lot of parallels here. Haven't had a lot of time or a lot of places to teach on this book, but we're going to get back into it. Last book for tonight. A covenant renewal of Shechem, at Shechem. Joshua 24, verse 1, last book of Joshua. Then Joshua summoned all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, including their elders, leaders, judges, and officers, so they came and presented themselves to God. Joshua said to the people, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Long ago your ancestors, including Terah, the father of Abraham, and Nahor, lived beyond the Euphrates River, and they worshipped other gods." Verse 3, "But I took your ancestor Abraham from the land beyond the Euphrates and led him into the land of Canaan. I gave him many descendants through his son Isaac." And then there was Jacob, obviously, after that. Verse 4, "To Isaac I gave Jacob," see, I did it again. "I gave Jacob and Esau. To Esau I gave the mountains of Seir, while Jacob and his family, his children, went down into Egypt. Then I sent Moses and Aaron, and I brought, in Jesus' name, doesn't matter to me, I'll keep going. And I brought terrible plagues on Egypt, and afterward I brought you out as a free people. But when your ancestors arrived at the Red Sea," verse 6, "the Egyptians chased after you with chariots and charioteers." And we know what happens after that. "When your ancestors cried out to the Lord, I put darkness between you and the Egyptians. I brought the sea crashing down on the Egyptians, drowning them." My goodness. "With your very own eyes, you saw what I did. Then you lived in the wilderness for many years." They were very disobedient. Shouldn't have taken that long, but they just wouldn't trust Moses. "Finally, I brought you into the land of the Amorites on the east side of the Jordan. They fought against you, but I destroyed them before you. I gave you victory over them, and you took possession of their land." "Then Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab," the washpot, "starting a war against Israel, he summoned Balaam, son of Beor, to curse you. But I would not listen to him. Instead, I made Balaam bless you, and so I rescued you from Balak. When you crossed the Jordan River and came to Jericho, the men of Jericho fought against you as you did the Amorites, and Perizzites, and Canaanites, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. But I gave you victory over them." Let's see here. Verse 12. "And I sent Terah ahead of you to drive out 2 kings of the Amorites. It was not your swords or bows that brought you victory." Joshua 24:13. "I gave you land you had not worked on, and I gave you towns you did not build. The towns where you are now living, I gave you. You guys, in Jesus' name. The enemy's been attacking me on this read tonight, but I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm going to read it over again, just to let the enemy know we love this word and you can't take it from me. Verse 13. I gave you. I'll start over again. I gave you land and had. One more time. I gave you land you had not worked on, and I gave you towns you did not build, the towns where you are now living. I gave you vineyards and olive groves for food, though you did not plant them. All right, verse 14. So fear the Lord and serve him wholeheartedly. Put away forever the idols your ancestors worshipped when they lived beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt. Serve the Lord alone. What a night. But it's good. But if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today from who you will serve. Would you prefer the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates? Or will it be the gods of the Amorites in whose land you now live? But as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. I love that. Finally, my favorite verse in Joshua. But as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. We read 24 chapters to get to that. As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. Remember that. I want the enemy to hear that, and I want people that are my enemies to hear that. I will keep serving the Lord. That's so good. You know, I love what, there was he's old in New York. I can't remember the preacher's name. There was a movie called The Cross and the Switchblade. Forget that pastor that it's about. But these gang members, you know, they said, well, that could kill you. Why aren't you afraid of us? And he's like, you can cut me into 1,000 little pieces and each one's still going to keep loving you. And that's how I feel about my enemies. That's what I'm saying. That's a good word. As for me and my family, we're going to serve the Lord. The people replied, verse 16 of Joshua 24, last chapter. Joshua 24:16. The people replied, we would never abandon the Lord and serve other gods, for the Lord our God is the one who rescued us and our ancestors from slavery in the land of Egypt. He performed mighty miracles before our very eyes as we traveled through the wilderness among our enemies. He preserved us. Verse 18. It was the Lord who drove out the Amorites and the other nations living here in the land. So we, too, will serve the Lord, for he alone's our God. Then Joshua warned the people, you're not able to serve the Lord, for he is a holy and jealous God. He will not forgive your rebellion and your sins. Verse 20, if you abandon the Lord and serve other gods, he will turn against you and destroy you, even though he has been so good to you. He's been so good to you. He's been so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming never. Okay, moving on. I'm not the singer in the group here. Joshua 24:21. But the people answered Joshua, no, we will serve the Lord. You are a witness to your own decision, Joshua said. You have chosen to serve the Lord. They're a witness to their own decision. Remember, there has to be two or three witnesses. Think about that. Process that. Yes, they replied, we are witnesses to what we have said. That's what I'm talking about. All right, then, Joshua said, destroy the idols among you and turn your hearts to the Lord, the God of Israel. I love the Bible so much. Verse 24, Joshua. The people said to Joshua, we will serve the Lord our God. We will obey him alone. So Joshua made a covenant. Thank you for all the hearts. With the people that day at Shechem, committing them to allow the decrees and regulations of the Lord. Joshua recorded these things in the book of God's instructions as a reminder of their agreement. So, you know, Joshua writes this. He took a huge stone and rolled it beneath the terebinth. He took a huge stone and rolled it beneath the terebinth tree beside the tabernacle of the Lord. Joshua said to all the people, this stone has heard everything the Lord said to us. It will be a witness to testify against you if you go back to your word to God. If you go back on your word to God. This reminds me of the stones cry out. They're representing death. There's a little study there. I think you should circle that one. You guys, I have struggled, but thank you so much for bearing with me. This one's been a little more difficult actually than the other 15 that I did. But that's good. I need a challenge. Matter of fact, I might read more after this just because I can, just to say I can. Then Joshua sent all the people away to their own homelands. This is Joshua's death and burial. This is it, guys. This closes out the book of Joshua. Joshua's death, think about a parallel to Jesus. So think about it. After this, Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. Numbers matter. They buried him in the land he had been allocated at Timnath Serah in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gash. The people of Israel served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him, those who had personally experienced all that the Lord had done for Israel. Verse 32, the bones of Joseph, which the Israelites had brought along with them when they left Egypt, were buried at Shechem in the plot of land Jacob had bought from the sons of Hamor with 100 pieces of silver. This land was located at the territory allotted to the descendants of Joseph. Last verse. Woo! I've been struggling, but I love it. In Jesus' name. Eleazar, son of Aaron, also died. He was buried in the hill country of Ephraim in the town of Gibeah, which had been given to his son Phinehas. How do you say that? Phinehas.